Welcome everybody. I'm here and I'd like to introduce Carolyn Jeffery. She is the owner of Women in Business Regional Network here in South Australia and is, very accomplished lady. So what is your main field of experience, do you feel, Carolyn?
Thanks for inviting me along. So my main field of experience, funnily enough, is actually in the media. So I spent about 25 years of my career as a journalist and then went on to become a manager as well. And when everything went online, I went from the writing side of things and print media into the online world as well. So I guess my background is not only in writing and marketing, but also in management as well. So that's where I bring all of those aspects of my career and have converted them into business.
Okay, well perhaps tell us a little bit about your business as a whole.
So I have, I have three arms of my business. So my main business is actually CJ's Business Solutions, which in 2021 is celebrating 10 years since it was created. So it's 10 years since I left the full-time work or should I say full-time employment, because when you're in business, you certainly are doing more than full-time work. And so CJ's Business Solutions started out as a business offering basically temping services and marketing and writing. So it was almost like a PR agency on steroids. And then it evolved over the time to now offer WordPress websites, still doing the marketing, very much doing a lot of social media type work, organising events as well, doing administration. So I'm a virtual assistant, and I've also just recently really ramped up the business consulting side of the business as well. And so 4 years ago, the CJ's Business Solutions and one of my contracts led me into work with Rosie Killip, who is an entrepreneur from New Zealand, who is also wanting to come to Australia and during the pandemic has been stuck in New Zealand. So she created a Women in Business event and I organised that for her. So I was her Australian representative. And at that function, it was about delivering, I guess, training and education. It was a workshop. And from there, it was really clear to me, because I've spent virtually my entire life in the regions. So it was clear to me that these regional women really needed much more than just a workshop here and there. They needed connections, they needed networking. Look, they needed the opportunity to be able to be trained and receive some education for their business, some templates, etc., in a way that they could apply in their businesses. So virtually overnight, after a conversation with Rosie, after one of her functions, the Women in Business Regional Network was born. And so that was 4 years ago. And then in addition to that, I also have an online incubator, small business incubator, but with all the government funding that's been around for the pandemic, it has really, there's been a whole lot of other incubators started up, so it has sort of taken a little bit of a back burner.
You've had a lot on your plate, but you've also achieved a lot. I know with the Women in Business Regional Network, I have benefited hugely from being a part of that. So if anyone watching is in rural South Australia, please get in contact, because it's just a great opportunity for women to get together and hang with other women who are in business and are moving forward. And yes, so
it's lovely having you a part of it, Dee.
Thank you.
Can I just point out that if you have anybody in this course as well who is interstate, they're also welcome to join as well.
Wonderful to hear the expansion. I know we had a couple involved, so that's good. So what do you think has been crucial to your success over time?
Well, it's really funny. So during my career, I worked for a big corporate organisation, Rural Press as it was known, and then it then became Fairfax. And funnily enough, we probably didn't like it at the time, but I think really the sink or swim mentality where we were just thrown in the deep end quite often in our jobs was really the thing that has created resilience and helped me to become a troubleshooter, problem solver, and so that's underpinned like my core business. So I feel like I can, if I can't solve the problem directly, I've certainly got contacts that can help somebody with their business. So that's been pretty important. The other thing I think that is important, and I guess because being a woman as well, we tend to be able to call upon our empathetic side. And I think being able to actually be empathetic to people and understand maybe the unspoken aspects of what they're going through has also meant that I've been able to introduce opportunities for them and obviously for me as well.
So do you have some hot tips for people who are listening who are perhaps either going into business or reviewing their businesses?
Absolutely. So I think I've got three probably tips. So the number one thing is to make sure that you take a moment and down why you are going into business. I think your why is the most important thing that's going to motivate you through those dark days, those days when you're thinking, oh my God, I really should go back to permanent employment. So if you write it down, but make sure that it is a why from your heart, not a why because somebody else thinks that that's what you should be doing. And it's not a why about providing a service to another. It is your why that comes from within you. So that's the thing that's going to keep you going through. It's not always beer and skittles in business. There are some tough times, and there's times when there's long hours, and there's times when your personal life might interfere with it as well. So it is important that you've got something to draw upon and revisit it regularly. Have it there almost in your face.
Yeah.
The other points would be that when you feel overwhelmed in your business or even in your day-to-day life, that you take a moment. I'm a big list writer, and so when I feel overwhelmed, I quite often write down what tasks need to be done and then break them down into small tasks because it won't seem quite as daunting and as overwhelming then. So if you can do that with your plan and your strategy as well. And the last one is to make sure that people around you are good for you and not going to bring you down or rattle your confidence. And quite honestly, if anybody is around you who is like shaking your confidence, you just don't need them. You need them in your life. Find new people is the simple message.
And I think that ties back to the networking with Women in Business Regional Network too, is that often in rural areas, where if we're in business, we are a tiny minority. It's easy to find people in the city, but in country, I mean, there's only a couple of businesses in my tiny town and they're not looking to expand or grow, so there's no connection for me. So you offering that opportunity to meet other women in other towns has just opened my world up beautifully. So now you have a new initiative too that you've just launched this week, which is a magazine. So tell me a little bit about that.
So the Web Chat magazine, yes, it finally hit the airwaves, and it's created a lot of interest so far. So it's my opportunity to get back to doing what I love to do more than anything, which is to write and be able to share other people's stories. So having had an online newspaper of my own at one stage, I'd learnt from that experience, and so now we've been able to deliver some really great inspiring stories from regional women in business throughout Australia, and I'm hoping that will continue to tell even more stories, and we'll inspire others to go on and do some great things too.
Brilliant. And we just had a little discussion before we came on that you may also expand this into a podcast.
Absolutely. So that's the plan, is to be able to then have it as a podcast, because I know that there's a lot of women who just love listening to inspiring stories, and there's certainly plenty of them there. We may not always have the time in our busy days to sit down and read, but we quite often, you know, the cars that I travel in the car, I can quite often listen to other things, or make phone calls, but I can listen to other things. So, and I think women are able to do that as well.
No, that's good. So when you're juggling so many balls, tell me, how do you manage your time?
Well, like I said, lists are my thing. I have an online calendar, and I can't get away from having a paper calendar either. I don't know what it is.
I'm the same.
I have both. And look, there are times where you go, oh, I just wish I would stick with one, but my life is like clockwork. So everything is segmented. And I also use another online app called Clicker. So it's not just me. I have a team, a small team of with 2 other women involved in it as well. So we need to communicate with each other. And yeah, everything is like regimented. So for this year we had 85 events across the state. So for each one of those, there is a set number of tasks that have to be done each time, and they all have to be done at a deadline. And I guess that's the thing, having been in the media, in newspapers, and both in radio as well, because radio we had hourly deadlines and half-hourly deadlines. So I'm very deadline driven. So I push myself quite a bit to meet those deadlines.
Yeah. So what keeps you motivated at this stage?
People like you do.
Thank you. We do have a lot of fun.
Oh, look, that is the thing. It's I often say it's like a drug. So the more success that I can see among not only the women in the network, but also my clients, because I've got like 50 clients for CJ's Business Solutions as well. So if I can see them growing, progressing, getting over whatever issues they may have, if I'm doing coaching and mentoring with them, then that just spurs me on to do even more. And yeah, it's just like a constant thing.
Okay, so who are your mentors, or who do you look to for growth?
Well, it depends a lot on the space that I'm in at the time, the headspace that I'm in at the time. But probably somebody who has been amazing to me in the background has been Moira Ware AM, who is a South Australian iconic lady who campaigns for gender equity. And she is the lady who founded Chooks SA, which is the online Facebook group, and has more recently then created the Hen House Co-op, of which I'm a member as well. And she's been there for cuppers and lunches and all of that sort of thing to just help to keep me motivated. And also, oh, look, the lady has so many connections, it's not funny. So she's been really good with connections. I was fortunate enough to have one of our members, Wendy Perry, who's the Adelaide Entrepreneurship Facilitator as well. And she's been amazing as far as being able to connect me with people that I needed to be connected with from a business point of view as well. And she gave me some coaching early on in the journey. And the other one that's probably not necessarily a business coach, but certainly somebody who set me on the right track really early on, is a life coach. And if you had have said to me, 10 years ago, go and get a life coach, I would have probably just laughed or just nodded, and it never would have happened. But having worked with a life coach in Kathy Domini, she was just amazing in getting me back on track with my whole mindset really, and she's probably been one of the biggest motivators to get it all happening.
Yes.
So I would absolutely recommend a life coach. It's more than, your life is more than business.
Yes.
And a life coach can help to bring that all together for you.
And sometimes we need somebody slightly detached from our personal life because they can come at it clean, so to speak. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
but in terms of other mentors, Dee, it's funny, now having so many members in the network, I guess it's fair to say I feel like I get coached and mentored by many within the network as well, simply by the contact that I have with them and the networking opportunities and collaborations
yes.
that take place. And I'm just always open to advice from people.
Yes.
Provided it's positive.
Well, each event, whether it's either in person or online, I always feel lifted by it because we are all lifting each other, and it's encouraging. And sometimes we do push each other in the right way as well, which is, yes.
Absolutely.
It was something that was seriously missing in my life. So, yeah. So what would you like to be remembered for?
For making a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds pretty generic, but it is the one thing I think that has been underpinned my whole life, even from when I made the decision to become a journalist when I was only 16. I always wanted to make a difference. So it's been important to me to continue that on. And it was one of the reasons why I left employment, because with the changes in corporate media, it just becoming harder and harder to make a difference in that current role that I had for the community that I was representing. So for me, I needed to find something else. And it took me a little while after so many years in the media and so many years doing the same thing. It took me a little while to find who I was. But man, once I found that and was able to reconnect with that vision to make a difference, I've just not looked back really.
No, and I know that you've been recognised in a couple of situations. Would you like to share some of those?
Well, over the years, I've been very lucky. I have been recognised in a number of ways. I mean, just recently, in terms of the network itself, I was the SA Woman Community Award winner a couple of years ago, and the Flurio, which is the region where I live in, here in Victor Harbour, the Flurio Inspirational Woman in Business Award. So that was back in 2019, I think. And then before that, I was actually the very last Rural Press Employee of the Year before they merged with Fairfax. So that was in recognition of not only the work I'd done for the community, but also the financially how I turned the newspaper around that I was managing at the time. And the one that I am really proud of, and I guess it reflects back on the fact that I do want to make a difference to people, is that when I was working for the newspaper, I, inverted commas, came out as somebody who suffers from depression and anxiety. And I'd suffered from burnout 3 times, I think. It took me 3 goes before I learned the lessons. And so I ended up winning the Australian New Zealand Mental Health Media Award for a piece that I did about my own experience of depression and anxiety. And it was just amazing the difference that actually made to people.
Yes.
So, it was a defining moment of my career, I think.
So often I find entrepreneurs have those hidden challenges that nobody sees, but if we don't share them, no one realises that they can overcome as well. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your time today. I really appreciate you coming on, and we'll put some links or connections in with this at the end of it. So, thank you.
Thanks, Dee, for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Okay.